All right, guys, welcome back. My name is Zia, and this is Crypto Polaris, and I have another edition of MetaPlanet. Many of you guys have asked me to go into more details on the price prediction, so I am going to talk about that. And this is actually a very good time to talk about why MetaPlanet is going to go down before it goes up. Okay, don't panic. I'm going to walk you through all of that. But many of you were questioning my spreadsheet because I think I conflated some of the numbers in there in terms of my explanation. There's multiples on NAV and there's also multiples on earnings. And I want to emphasize on multiples on earning because if you follow MicroStrategy in their last earnings call, and I'll show you that their CEO was making a case that the prices of their share should be calculated based on their earnings and then multiples on the earnings. Of course, their earnings are based on the BTC gain, and I'll walk you through that. So if that goes through, then MetaPlanet will also be priced the same way. Now, real quick, I'm not going to go into what is MetaPlanet. If you're really interested in knowing what is MetaPlanet, I'll link the video. I've got many videos on MetaPlanet, but simply MetaPlanet is exactly like MicroStrategy. The only difference is they're based in Japan, and they are taking advantage of the economic conditions in Japan that is allowing the investors in Japan to actually put money into MetaPlanet, whereby then MetaPlanet can buy Bitcoin because what are they? They are a Bitcoin treasury company, just like MicroStrategy. Okay, so let's go into this a little bit and let me look at the agenda for you and see what we are going to talk about. As you remember, about a month or two ago, Simon, the CEO of MetaPlanet, released the 555 plan. What does that mean? They're going to sell 555 million shares, common shares, to raise money to buy Bitcoin. They just started that. This is just perfect. On September 10th, they did the first sale of 385 million for international fundraising to an underwriter. And I will give you the details on that. And then also talk about the rest of the shares that make up 555, what is going to happen to that. And then I've got a detailed breakdown of how much money they raised, how much fees they paid, and how many Bitcoin are they going to buy and by when. Okay? And also at what price did they underwrite? That's very critical because on my thumbnail, I said they're going to go down before the MetaPlanet price goes up. So I'll show you why. So don't panic, guys. This is why I'm doing this video. All right? And then this is going to be very important. I touched on this a little bit. How to value MetaPlanet. Guys, you have to understand what they do today to value MetaPlanet, the investors that is, and also what will be in the future, how they're going to value MetaPlanet. And I want to explain that to you because I use all of those instruments and tools and numbers and formulas to do my price prediction, which I think is quite accurate in terms of my model, okay? By the way, nothing here I'm telling you is financial advice. This is my opinion, a lot of research, and I like doing this as a hobby, and I want to share my knowledge with you. This is not used for trading. My primary goal is to give you the knowledge that I have. You do your own diligence and see what you would like to do with this particular share. And then, of course, we're going to get into the price prediction, and we will talk about share dilution, NAV, which is net asset value, MNAV, which is multiples on NAV, and the earnings multiple, earnings meaning the BTC gain. Let's dive into this, guys, okay? What do we have here? This is a disclosure made on September 10th to raise money from the international underwriter so MetaPlanet can go buy Bitcoin. So this is released on September 10th. You will see in the red box, there is 385 million shares that were underwritten. And I go into details in terms of how much did they raise, which you'll see in a second. And I'm actually going to use this in my spreadsheet. But look at the 385 million and then look at the other highlighted area. September 17th is when they're going to get this money from the underwriter. September 17th, next week. What do you think they're going to do with the money as soon as they get it? And I'm going to show you how much they're going to get and in US dollars, and I'm going to show you how many Bitcoin they're going to buy with that almost immediately. So guys, This is important, and I'm going to use this also in my price prediction. This here also shows you that prior to this 385 million shares, you'll see right above that in the red box, 755,974 and some change were the outstanding shares. Now they've added another 385 million, which they diluted. So the total outstanding share right now is 1,140,974,000 and some change. Okay, so I also use this in my price prediction. So keep this in mind. All right, so let's keep going. Now, what I'm showing you here is everything I just showed you in the other two, I put it in the spreadsheet. So look at the very first box on the top. You'll notice that there were 722 million shares outstanding. They've just done the international offer number 1 of 385 million. All right, there's still 170 million left. So there'll be more dilution coming. There'll be more funds raised. So let's look at the second box. So if you take 385 million shares, the issue price, meaning the underwriter issued that at $553. Take that back. The issue price was 553 in Japanese, but the amount to be paid is 533. So this is how the underwriter makes money. So don't worry about any of these. That's effectively the fees, even though they say they don't get the fees, but they've just raised $51 million in fees. So bottom line is 533 yen per share is going to go to MetaPlanet. So the funds raised in total is 212 billion yen, which in US dollar as of last night is $1.4 billion. Funds to be delivered is 205 billion yen. If you translate that into USD, that's $1.396 billion that will be delivered on the 16th, 17th, and 18th of this month. Probably will be on 17th as they stated in their disclosure. All right? Look at this. 51 million is fees to the underwriter. My goodness, they make so much money. So this is where I want you to pay attention. $3.76. That is the effective per share price. So the current price of MetaPlanet, it will start trading a little bit later, is $4.30. They just did this underwriting a day or two ago. So once this starts, don't be surprised that the MetaPlanet may dip all the way down to $3.76 or thereabout before it starts to bounce. All right? So the other thing I want to remind you, so the total proceeds they're going to get in US dollar after fees and everything, and also they intend to use funds for other purposes, but they're going to allocate $1.2 billion just to Bitcoin. So at $116,000 per Bitcoin, that effectively gets them 10,769 Bitcoin if they were to buy it all in one tranche on the 17th, and we're still around $116,000. Of course, it could be 120,000, then they'll get less, right? This effectively gets them to their 30,000 by year 2025. 2025 is not over. And then, of course, we're going to have to deal with another dilution of 170 million shares. So let's go through all of these things and get into a lot of the discussions about what I am going to use in my price prediction. Guys, you really need to understand. On the left side is the traditional model. On the right side is the Bitcoin treasury model. This is a slide from the last earnings call presented by the CEO, not Michael Saylor, their CEO, Fong, I believe that's his name, of MicroStrategy. He went through 15 minutes. There are a lot more slides, but this is the final summary slide. He said traditionally, Facebook, which is Meta, Google, and you name it, NVIDIA, they all get traditional way of earnings and then multiply that by multiples. That's price to earnings, right? So traditionally, they're 30 times, 40 times. I think the NASDAQ average is 30 times their earnings. So he's saying traditionally, that's how you do the actual pricing of shares. On the right side, he's proposing the way it should be measured, which means the formula is very simple. The BTC NAV, that's the total number of BTC multiplied by the current price of the BTC, okay? So right now, I think it's about $74 billion. Then you add that to the BTC dollar gain. So what is the BTC dollar gain? That's their base and today's dollar. So their base is around $70,000, their average price for BTC, or 74,000, but today is 116. So you take that delta, then you multiply it with a multiple. And he is saying this multiple needs to be, and if you listen to his earnings call, he talks about more than 10x. So you take the BTC NAV plus BTC gain times 10x. And in my example, I did not use 10x for the MicroStrategy. And in my example here right now for price prediction, you will see what multiples I use. So stay tuned. So let's keep this in mind as I go through my price prediction. All right. So let me bring my cursor here. You've seen this before, but I want to focus your eye on this yellow. Okay. This yellow right here is, let me make that bigger. It's multiples on BTC gain. Okay. That is the multiple that I just talked about. And we're going to talk about, I actually use 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, and 5 times. And this is MetaPlanet, of course. All right. So we'll come back to that. But for now, see this MNAV? It's 1.31. If you go to the MetaPlanet site, their MNAV is 1.31. So I want to go through, this is as of a couple days ago, the 8th, what the valuation of MetaPlanet was. I'm going to show you the dilution that's going to take place on the 18th, what's going to happen. And then we're going to do price prediction for 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029, and 2030. Why all the way to 2030? That's because if you look down here, this is my BTC price prediction. This is for 2025. You keep going down to where the yellow is, right here, 2030. You'll notice that majority of the people are calling 1 million BTC by 2030. So I use 1 million as an anchor to do the calculation. You can make it 500,000 if you want, slash it by half. All right. Right now, there are 755,974,340 outstanding shares as of the 8th of September. And the price of MetaPlanet is $4.30. Okay. You'll notice that the market cap is 3.2 and their BTC holding is 20,136. And the current price is 116,000. All right. So their net asset value is 2,335,000,000 and so on. That's their net asset value. So now come the 18th, look at the share dilution. It went up. That's because you have to add 385 million. Okay. When you do that, that's the number you get. And what that does to your share price is it becomes $3.76. So look at the market cap, $4 billion at that time. And I assumed that by 18th, it's going to be 120,000 BTC. All right. And then their total BTC goes to right here, 30,905. They're effectively done for 2025 because their plan calls for 30,000 by end of 2025. All right. And 100,000 by end of 2026. And then 210,000 by end of 2027. So I think they're going to buy this much faster than 2027. All right. And then their MNAV goes down. Okay, guys? It goes down to 1.15. Do not fear. That's why the price of the share will go down to 3.76 because of dilution. All right. Let's move forward. Let's go to 2026. What did I do here? This, by 2026, I believe what MicroStrategy is pushing, how the company should be valued based on multiples on gain right here. So I said, let's use 2 as a multiple on the earnings. All right. And also assume the average price of Bitcoin in 2026 is 150. Although the year it will end at 203,000. But let's say the average was 150 because we have to use some average to do some math. So now, in order for them to buy the rest of the Bitcoin to get to 100,000, they effectively have to buy 69,000 shares. And in order to do that, I do some calculation. They're going to have to raise $10 billion at the rate of 150,000 per Bitcoin to buy 69,000 Bitcoin. All right. Which means they're going to have to sell 647 million shares. More dilution of the shares, guys. So let's do this. So then what happens is Look at the share dilution in 2026. It's now 1.4. But here's a big but, guys. The price of the share is $40. Wow. How did it get there? That's very easy. So what happened was, look at the BTC gain. There's a formula here. Their net asset value is 20 billion because they bought so many. They bought so many. See, at 203,000 per Bitcoin, they get their net asset value goes to 20 billion. Guys, it's pure math. If you're going to have 100,000 Bitcoin and the price of Bitcoin is 203,000 per Bitcoin, what do you think this is going to be? 20 billion. This is what you need to understand. There is a money glitch here. When it's 20 billion, the delta in 2026 is this. This is the BTC gain. Because when they started, they had $2.3 billion of net asset right here. Now they have 20 billion, so that's roughly 18 billion. You multiply that by 2, because remember, that's the gain, that's the earnings times multiple of 2. And that's what gives you the enterprise value right here of $56 billion. And if you have this many shares, you divide that, you get $40. It's that simple, guys. And then they want to go to 210,000 Bitcoin by year 2027. Using the same formula, I said, let's assume the average price of Bitcoin is 275, but by end of 2027, it'll be 355, but they need to get to 210,000 Bitcoin. Using an average price of 275, they're going to have to buy another 110,000 Bitcoin. That means they have to raise $30 billion. It sounds mind-boggling. It sounded mind-boggling if they could raise $1.5 billion. They just did. This is the power of multiplication on the net asset value. That means they're going to have to dilute this by another 1.2 billion shares. Okay? So now you look up, their total outstanding share becomes 2.6 billion. Don't forget, they've already authorized 2.7 billion. It's in one of the disclosures that I showed you last time. So that takes the price to $91 per MetaPlanet shares. Guys, I hope you're following this because their valuation becomes 237 billion. Okay? Now, I'm not going to explain 2028, but effectively in 2028, they get to $86. They're not buying anymore, but you could extrapolate they're going to keep buying and buying, but I just froze it at 210. In 2029, their share price goes to 136, and I froze it at 210. And by 2030, their share price goes to $182. Okay? Now you're asking, well, Zia, what did you do here? I said 2 times multiple in 2026, 3 times multiple, 4 times multiple, 5 times multiple. For whatever reason, I said, you know what, let's drop it to 3.5 times multiple. I don't know. What if we kept it at 5? Then this price, 182, will jump up. Let me change it to 5. And then you're talking about 224. I hope you're beginning to understand. There's nothing magical here. As long as the price of Bitcoin keeps going up, the MetaPlanet share price must go up because it's based on net asset value. Guys, it's not rocket science what we are doing here. It really is very simple, all right? It's very simple what we're doing. So it's important for you to understand that model that I showed you. It's the net asset value plus BTC gain, multiplied that by the multiples that the investors are willing to put on it. So I think slowly over time, the MNAV will disappear. MNAV was something Michael Saylor invented to do this, but now they're pushing for multiples. Pay special attention to the earnings call. Go back and listen to it. It's recorded on MicroStrategy, and I truly believe that's where we are headed. So guys, it was fun doing this. Now, real quick, I want to go back and show you this particular thing. So just to summarize this. So in summary, the current price is $4.30. Then it will go down to $3.76. Then it will be $40 in 2026, $91 in 2027, $86 in 2028, $136 in 2029, and 2030 has $224. Hopefully you understood this. And guys, if you liked what you saw, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and let others know about. I do a lot of videos on MetaPlanet if you're interested. I do a lot of videos on MicroStrategy, XRP, Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, Sui, and a few others. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was a lot of fun. I hope I clarified some of your questions. Take care, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.